Zoe, my love, when are you going to tell your father about us? We've been together for 2 years, and you still insist we keep our relationship a secret.
I'm just not ready to tell him yet. You know how controlling he is. If he doesn't approve of you and me, we both know he'll do anything and everything to make things go his way.
I'm not afraid of him, and neither should you. I know he's the only family you have left, but you shouldn't let his opinion stop you from living your life.
You're right, Matt. I just don't know how I'm going to tell him, or even how I'm going to bring it up. I'm so scared he's going to get angry and lash out at me.
I don't want to keep our lives in the shadows, though. I want our relationship to be out in the open. I want to marry you in front of a church full of people and express our love to the world.
You know I want that too. I just don't know how to break the silence.
How about this? What if I spoke to your father? I'll tell him about us and ask him for his blessing to marry you.
You would do that? You know how much it would mean to me if we had my father's blessing.
I would do anything for you, Zoe. Good morning, sir. You don't know me, but I'd like to introduce myself to you. My name's Matthew Smith, and I'm dating your daughter. Nope, you must have the wrong number. My daughter isn't seeing anyone, and even if she was, she would have told me about it. That's exactly why I'm contacting you, sir. Your daughter, Zoe Young, and I have been together for 2 years now, and we've been dating in secret because she's been afraid to tell you. Is this some sort of joke? Are you trying to prank me? Not at all, Mr. Young. I've been trying to get Zoe to tell you about us for months now, but she hasn't been able to work up the courage. She has a lot of respect for you, sir, and never wanted to do anything to displease you. So she thought keeping a secret boyfriend was a better idea? Well, not exactly. She just couldn't find the right time to tell you. And she thought that a random boy sending me messages telling me he's been dating my daughter for 2 years was the right way to do it? No, sir. This was my idea. I wanted to take matters into my own hands and introduce myself to you. And why would you wait so long to try and introduce yourself to me? In any case, this isn't much of an introduction. You would have made a better first impression if you had come and met me, face to face. I understand, Mr. Young, but I was only trying to please Zoe and her wishes. So, why have you decided to spring this on me now? Well, the thing is, I did want to ask you this in person, but I'd like to ask for your blessing for your daughter's hand in marriage. Are you crazy? Absolutely not. I'm not going to let my baby girl marry some strange man. I'm not some strange man. Sir, I've known your daughter for over 3 years. And as I mentioned, we've been together officially for 2 of them. This is ludicrous. There's no way I'm going to let my daughter marry someone I don't know. And not that it has anything to do with you, but I've already arranged to give my daughter to another man. What? What do you mean you're going to give her to another man? I've arranged for her to marry someone else, someone that I know and approve of. Zoe never told me she was supposed to have an arranged marriage. That's because I haven't told her yet. I was still finalizing all of the arrangements, but now everything's ready, and I'm marrying her off next month. I was actually going to break the news to her today. Break the news? You can't just tell someone out of nowhere that they're getting married in a month. You obviously don't know how arranged marriages work, son. No, of course I know what an arranged marriage is. I just mean you can't marry off Zoe to someone else. I love her. Well, that's just a pity then, isn't it? You asked for my blessing, and I've denied it. Now, if you know what's good for you, kid, you'll forget about me and my daughter and move on with your life. I can't just forget about Zoe. You can't do this. I will find a way to be with her. Don't waste your time, boy. Break the news? You can't just tell someone out of nowhere that they're getting married in a month. You obviously don't know how arranged marriages work, son. No, of course I know what an arranged marriage is. I just mean you can't marry off Zoe to someone else. I love her. Well, that's just a pity then, isn't it? You asked for my blessing, and I've denied it. Now, if you know what's good for you, kid, you'll forget about me and my daughter and move on with your life. I can't just forget about Zoe. You can't do this. I will find a way to be with her. Don't waste your time, boy.
Matthew? I haven't heard from you in over a week. We usually talk every day. What's going on? I really need to talk to you.
Zoe, my love, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to see you or even spoken to you in a while. You won't believe what happened to me.
What is it?
I don't know if he told you, but I spoke to your father. He refused to give us his blessing, and told me if I knew it was good for me, I'd forget about you and move on. Then later that day, I was walking to the store, and a couple of cops tackled me down, beat me up, and arrested me.
What? What did they arrest you for?
That's the thing. They arrested me for armed robbery, and their reasoning for being forceful and roughing me up was that I was listed as armed and dangerous.
But you hate guns. And when would you even have time to rob a place? I know you've been working extra shifts to save up.
Exactly. Plus, I'd never rob somebody of something they've worked hard to get. I've learned from my brother's mistakes to stay on the right side of the law.
That's true too.
Anyway, so that's where I've been the last couple of days. They locked me up for investigation. Thankfully, my dad was there and could bail me out.
I was just gonna ask what your dad thought about all this.
He definitely thinks something fishy's going on, because my record is clean as a whistle. But never mind that now. What did you need to talk to me about?
Unfortunately, it's more bad news.
That reminds me, I also have something I need to talk to you about, but you go first.
My father is trying to have me go through with an arranged marriage, but obviously I don't want to go through with it. I want to marry you.
That's exactly what I needed to talk to you about. When I spoke to your father, he told me that he had already promised you to another man, and that he had just finished with the final preparations for it. I was thinking of how I was going to tell you, but then I was jumped by the cops and didn't have access to my phone.
What are we gonna do? I don't want to marry a strange old man, but the more I go against my father, the earlier he brings the wedding date forward. He's already made it so that the wedding is due to take place in just 10 days.
Don't worry, my love. I will think of something to get us out of this mess. Soon we'll be free of your father and we'll be able to do as we please. Just give me some time to think of a plan.
Okay, my dear Matthew, I will wait to hear from you. In the meantime, I'm gonna steer clear of my father, and fear that he moves the wedding up sooner.
I'll think of something, I promise. Didn't you learn your lesson, kid? Was one beating not enough for you? What are you talking about, Mr. Young? How did you know about that? Isn't it obvious? I told you to forget about my daughter and stay away. But still, I see you're still in contact with her. How did you know I've spoken with Zoe? You really aren't that sharp, are you? I have her phone tapped, so I know about everything she says and does. And just as well, I can't let my daughter run off with a scoundrel like you. I'm not a scoundrel, sir. In fact, I believe I'm quite a good suit for your daughter. I've been working hard and saving all my money so that I can give Zoe the life that she deserves. Zoe deserves the life I have planned for her. She needs a rich husband who's going to look after her, and of course me. What do you mean, look after you? Well, I'm not going to give my daughter away for nothing. It's only right I get something back in return. You can't sell your daughter. Oh, relax. It's not like I'm selling her to the highest bidder. Although that would have been a good idea if I'd thought of it earlier. I'm simply getting something in exchange for her. Think of it as a thank you present. I'm a man with a lot of respect, and I love your daughter, so this is hard for me to say, but you're crazy. You're actually trying to sell your daughter? What's in it for you anyway? What is your daughter worth to you? Well, I wouldn't be telling you this, but I know you're not going to be a threat to my plan. The gentleman who's interested in Zoe has offered me one of his largest mansions in return for her hand in marriage. I can't believe this. You're happy to give your daughter away to some creepy old guy? And not someone who truly loves her, just because he's gonna give you a house? A very big house, son. And in any case, love isn't everything. There are finer things in life that money can buy. And you can't get anything for love. You can't be serious. Dead serious. Now run along, boy. You leave my daughter alone and things will be okay for you. What do you mean by that? Are you threatening me? All I'm saying, kid, is that I have friends in high places. Things get done at just a snap of my fingers. So keep your nose clean and away from my daughter. Hey son, I've been working with some of my men to figure out how you got framed for this armed robbery, and I think we've got someone pulling strings on the inside. There's no other plausible reason that there can be this much evidence against you. Thanks for working so hard to clear my name, Dad. I've had my guard up since then, staying vigilant for anyone who might have a vendetta against me. But all I've got has been some distasteful threats from Zoe's father. What? Threats? Why didn't you say something earlier? I didn't think much of them. I figured he's just a crazy old man who's money hungry, and just wants to scare me away from his daughter. Tell me what kind of threats he made, Matthew. He just said something about keeping my nose clean and staying away from Zoe because he has friends in high places. As I said, I didn't think much of it. He can't scare me away from the love of my life, just with a few empty threats. Son, you've been framed for a very serious offense. You're just lucky I'm the station commander, and I was able to have you released on bail. Any threats, no matter how insignificant they may seem, should be taken seriously. Now tell me more about Zoe's father. What do you know about him? Not much, actually. I just know his name is Dave Young, and that he's a money-hungry pig, but, that's just my opinion. That name rings a bell. I'm gonna look into him. You stay safe out there, son. I'll do my best, Dad.
Thought of a brilliant plan for us to run away and be together yet? The wedding date is less than a week away.
I'm working on it, but I can't tell you here over the phone. My dad's looking into a lead on the case, but I can't say much more than that.
Why are you being so short and mysterious? Why can't you tell me what's going on?
Your father's tapped your phone, Zoe. He can see all the messages you send and receive, as well as the calls you make. He's probably even able to listen in on your phone call conversations, too.
What? How do you know this?
He told me himself. He tried to threaten me to get me to stay away from you, but I'm not going to give up without a fight. Don't you worry, my love. I will find a way for us to be together.
Just hurry. If he sees this, like you say he can, he might move the wedding sooner.
Cracked your case, son. As it turns out, your girlfriend's father's the corrupt officer we've been trying to snuff out. He's the one who manipulated those two cops to beat you up and arrest you on false charges. Are you serious? I would have told you sooner, but we made a bust on him today. We took him down for corruption and bribery and cleared your name for those offenses. And will you believe it, we did a search on his computer and found out the reason he'd been in such a rush to marry Zoe off. I know, he was supposed to get a mansion from this rich guy, in return for Zoe, the sick creep. That's not all. Zoe's father's been after her inheritance that her mother left her. We found emails that went back and forth between him and a lawyer. He was trying to find a way to get access to the money. He couldn't find a loophole in the documents, but instead found a hidden clause that stated if Zoe got married before she finished her studies, she wouldn't be liable for her inheritance, and everything would automatically go to him. I told you he was a money-hungry pig. I can't believe this. Not only was he selling off his daughter, but he was also trying to scam her out of her own inheritance? Some people are just corrupt, son. Just as well we caught him when we did, my officers have come forward and confessed that he'd been blackmailing them, and was even trying to get me fired so that he could take my place. And to think I was polite to him and tried to be courteous, asking for his blessing to marry Zoe. All that man deserves is a cold, dark prison cell. If I have anything to do with it, that's exactly what he's gonna get.
I can't believe my dad's been doing such horrible things. And even to me, his own daughter.
I'm so sorry, Zoe. I had no idea this would go this way.
No, don't apologize. I had no idea either. I don't feel bad about it anyway. He was never really a nice father to me.
Clearly not. The guy was trying to sell you off to who seemed like a more decent man than your father.
I know. I still can't believe that he's been so generous. To gift us a brand new car as an apology is unbelievable.
He really was very apologetic to us when he found out that we were a couple. He even seemed disappointed in himself for interfering in our relationship.
It really wasn't his fault, though. It was my manipulative father who was taking advantage of him and me.
That's true, but that's all in the past now. We can go on with our lives without interference from anybody.
Thank you for sticking with me, even when my father tried to threaten you and had you beat up. I love you.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I'd walk to the end of the earth for you, because I love you too. And I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
I can't wait either.
After my father arrested Zoe's father, he was charged with multiple offenses, including police brutality, corruption, blackmailing, and bribery of police officers. He was sentenced to several years in prison, and my father has made it his goal to make sure he serves every day without parole. As for Zoe and me, we decided to wait for her to finish her studies before getting married. Since we found out about the clause in her mother's will pertaining to her inheritance, we didn't want to jeopardize her receiving it. When she received her inheritance, Zoe decided to use a portion of it to throw us the wedding of our dreams. We also decided to sell the car we got as an apology and use some of the money for our honeymoon. With the rest of the money from the car and Zoe's inheritance, we were able to buy ourselves a small family home in that we can start our new lives together. Life has been good to us.